Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. Manchester United 2, Everton 0. A dominant performance all round. Kieran, your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I think it's actually one of the best, if not the best team performance I've seen here at Old Trafford this season. I think we've had some great results. You know, you look at Arsenal, Man City, Barcelona, etc. The list goes on. But that today was just dominant from the kick-off until the 90 minutes. And you can't look at one player today and not look at him and think they've not put a shift in. Every single player today has put a shift in. They've all had the moments in the match where they've produced something for the team, produced something in attack, produced something in defence. And I can't remember anything of significance Everton really done apart from that chance early in the first half.
Did you notice, or was you surprised at how quickly the players got it from the back to the midfield and straight onto the attack, especially in that first half? Was that a change in tactics, do you think?
Well, I did think before the game, there was obviously 3 changes in our back four. You had Malacia, Maguire and Wan-Bissaka come in, and sometimes that could destabilise a back four. You need always that solid, don't you, the spine of the team. But today, it didn't have any effects whatsoever on that back four, and I thought all of them played particularly well, including Wan-Bissaka, who I thought is immense. Keep saying it about Wan-Bissaka. He needs to be the first choice right back at Manchester United on current form. And, you know, you look at Malacia on the left-hand side as well, up and down that left, all the way up until 90 minutes injury time. And, you know, the way they got the ball out from the back, it wasn't really as though really had much to do, really, the two centre-halves in the way they were passing it. Because you had Bruno and McTominay dropping deep. You know, them two today showing for the ball was class because in the first half especially, Everton were pushing high up. And they were pushing high up to try and get in Bruno's face, McTominay's face, so they didn't have time on the ball to play it up to our attackers. And I thought both of them today, you know, the football brains on him were superb, you know, creating space for themselves and getting it up to like Sabitzer, Sancho, Rashford and Anthony. And I thought it was great, the one-touch pass in the football, yeah.
You look at all the chances we had, okay? Now, some chances were half chances, some good chances. Was their goalkeeper on form? Was that why we weren't scoring the goals? Or was it just...
It was a bit of both. You know, he produced some great saves, Pickford. I don't like the fella, I've got to admit, with his dinosaur arms, but he produced some great saves today. And, you know, you look at Rashford, you look at Wan-Bissaka, Anthony, so the list goes on. I think we had 16 shots on goal before Scott McTominay scored our first goal, something like 21 in total in the first half. But you can't be disappointed with that today. You know, you've turned up at Old Trafford, a sunny Manchester, seeing a performance like that, an exciting game, and I'm happy all round.
That midfield, we spoke earlier about the changes, the subtle changes. How do you see that midfield, especially the last couple of games, how it's changed and how it's working and what's making it work? Because there was no slow play there today.
Well, it's had to work. We've had Erik and Casemiro out, and you know, you look at that performance against Newcastle, nowhere near good enough. And he's made a couple of tweaks by putting Sabitzer in what was normally Bruno's role in that number 10, Bruno dropping deeper. And today it worked. It did work against Brentford, but not as good as what we've seen today. Because Everton did come at us today a lot more than what Brentford did. And you've seen them both today, midfield, McTominay and Bruno, like I said earlier on. They were fantastic. They tried putting it in there, that Anana, and is it Idris Gueye or someone? You know, they tried going in at him, and every single time, or the majority of the times, they just played round him. You know, you had Anthony as the out ball. You know, How many times did we see today the actual long ball from either Bruno or one of the back four, getting it over the top for Anthony to run into? We had 2 or 3 chances that created like that.
The ball's what came over the top. Was that like Everton playing naively by playing too far up front, where the players, and quickly seeing the opportunity to put the ball through and put over the top? Was there a bit of naivety there from Everton, or were they trying to come at United?
Well, they've got to. At the end of the day, you look where Everton are in the league, and you can see today why they ain't scoring goals. You know, there's just nothing there up front. There's no one there, is there? As a target man or someone who's going to stick the ball in the back of the net. And you know, you looked at them today. Me, if I was an Everton fan today, I wouldn't be too disappointed. I know the team got absolutely dominated today, but they had to come in here. They had to do something. They couldn't just sit back with 10 men behind the ball like West Ham do, with bringing a team of bricklayers and sit there and counter-attack, because they had to just try and do something. This was a free hit for them today. They've got bigger games to come up in the next few weeks against teams in and around them, and they're important games, whereas today, you know, fair play to them. They come out, they give it a go, And there was moments, in the first half, some in the second half, around about that 60-minute mark, where they did try pushing it at Manchester United. But again, they've just not got that quality up front and someone who's going to stick the ball in the back of the net.
We've got games coming up, right? And Ten Hag looked at today and thought, right, Varane needs a rest. He can't play Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. It's too much for him. And he put Maguire in there. How did you see that partnership today against like a big tough side? What came at United sometimes, especially on free kick. How did them two work together?
Their chances today. We discussed it in our preview that any chances of goal they was going to get was from free kicks, corners, and there was some. Let's have it right. There was some opportunities there where Maguire, got underneath the ball, or a player went on the outside of him, but. I think overall, I thought he'd done good today.
Yeah.
There's not one player, like I said earlier on, you could look at that team and think they didn't put the effort in today or they didn't perform. I thought they all performed to what they're normal capable of. And yeah, Maguire today's coming, captain's performance. And yeah, long may it continue.
Again, Anthony brought off, thought he had an excellent game, brought players into it, tracked back. What do you think of his performance? I mean, is it unfair him coming off again?
I was just about to say, I'm actually surprised he come off.
Yeah.
I'm actually really surprised he come off when he did. And you could sort of see it on his face, couldn't you, when he come off.
Disappointment.
Like, why me again? And, you look in the first half, the out ball that he brings, and it's not just the out ball. You look at his tracking back.
Yes.
That lad has got some lungs on him because he can get up and down that wing. And I bet the right back, whether it's Delo or Wan-Bissaka, love having him on that right-hand side because he tracks the runners back. He's seen one instance in the first half, with Godfrey, got in round the back of Wan-Bissaka, but Anthony tracked him all the way and put it out for a corner. And, for me, Anthony, I think he's improving. I think he's getting a bit more used to the Premier League, the pace of it, and what's required of him on that right-hand side. And we've seen some runs today from him when the ball's lifted over the top. He's on it.
How good was that, McTominay scoring that goal? I thought it was a great goal, but how good is that for him? Because he seems to be scoring now. We know he scored for Scotland. He seems to be getting more up there and more into this. The faster the game United play, he seems to be more into the game.
Yeah, look, with Scott McTominay, if he adds goals and assists, everyone's raving about him. That's the way I see it, because tackling defensive-wise with Scott, I think he's great. I think he's really good at what he does. And, when you're coming up against teams like Everton today, we're relying on set pieces. Scott McTominay is one of our best players we've got at defending set pieces, along with Varane in my eyes. And, if he adds goals and assists to his game, people are raving about him every single week.
Yeah.
That's what it is to me.
Listen, on that performance there, have you got any worries going forward for the top 4 spot? And really, we've got 2 trophies to go for. The team seems to be gelling and the style seems to be changing. Any worries going forward?
Do you know something? When people talk about the top 4, I don't know whether it's me, my generation, but it doesn't interest me. What I want to see is Manchester United competing for trophies, winning trophies, and challenging for the top of the league.
Yeah.
And, for me, what I want is Manchester United to go and win the Europa League. I want Man United to go and win the FA Cup. The top 4, let it just take care of itself, because if we win the Europa League, we're in the Champions League next year. I want to see my club win trophies. I want days out at Wembley, days out at other stadiums around the world, and see my team lift trophies. That's what I want.
Listen, I've got to just say this. We should have scored 10, right? Do we need a striker?
That's in the first half.
That's true. That's in the first half. Martial came on. This is what I'm getting onto there. What a clinical goal. Is that what you think? That's the striker there. That's the striker we know he is.
How many times have we said it about Martial?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of yous out there on our channel and viewers have said it as well. He just needs consistency, staying off that injury table. And you see what he's done today coming on. You said it at half-time to me that we need Martial on here.
Yeah.
If he had been on in that first half, we'd have had another 2 or 3 goals, because him in front of goal, he finishes them. There's no panicking with Martial. He knows where he's going to put it before the ball's at his feet. And if he can stay fit, I've got no worries about Man United winning another trophy this season. And like you said before, getting into that top 4.
Well, the last one before I go, we've got Eriksen back on the pitch today.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Short cameo. We've got Casemiro coming back. How are you looking forward to them on Thursday night in that Europa League against Seville?
I don't think it's a given that we'll see both of them start.
No.
Judging off your performances today, you know, at Brentford as well with Bruno, the performance that he put in there, you know, man of the match again today for me. You know, I'm not too sure. I think Ten Hag's got a bit of a problem there in midfield. I know Eriksen's class. Listen, he come on there late on, and a couple of the balls that he done first time over the top towards Martial, and I think it was Jadon Sancho on the right. Absolutely class. We know what Casemiro brings to the team, but you know, Scott McTominay, you know, he puts in performances like that. Bruno Fernandes, it's all good for Manchester United from now going into the end of the season. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we were all worrying a little bit. Listen, are all these games catching up with us? You know, injuries, suspensions, some of them looking leggy. But, you know, you look at the performance today on the front foot from the first minute. And, you know, no one can say out there that this team's tired, because I think Erik ten Hag's drilled it into him mentally. You're not tired, you're robots, you're machines. Get the job done from now until the end of the season.
Well, that's an interesting point for you to come back at us and give us your comments on. Casemiro and Eriksen coming back, who do you want to drop? Because
it's all good for Manchester United. We want them all performing the way they are today, and they have done at times throughout the season. Because if they're all performing in the same positions, it's only an headache for Erik ten Hag, and it's a good headache to have.
Yeah. Listen, great day today. Anything else before we finish?
Man of the match, Bruno. Was going to give it Scott, but I like Bruno's overall player today. Sabitzer as well, I'll add to note, preferred him in that number 10 role than sitting further back. But again, great headache for Erik ten Hag to have when he picks his teams from now until the end of the season.
Listen, we could stand here all day, because that was an absolutely fantastic performance by United. The work rate, everything. It was really good to watch.
Yeah.
Now listen, get your comments in, press that like button, and please subscribe. And we will be back during the week. Thank you very much. It's been an absolutely fabulous day here at Old Trafford.